Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon all of you. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. O my Lord, expand for me my breast, and ease my task for me, and remove the impediment from my speech, so that they may understand what I have to say. In the news recently, we were informed about a plane that crashed over Russia, which was brought down, and almost 300 people, or just over, I think, died tragically in that incident. Since July the 8th, 2014, we had a bigger tragedy which has taken place in Gaza, in Palestine, as we all know. On a daily basis, people were being bombed. Innocent civilians, men, women, children were being bombed relentlessly. We have approximately 1,900 people who have died since that incident started. This incident actually started maybe the 3rd or the 4th of Ramadan, when Ramadan started. The Zionist Jews didn't even have any shame that this was the month of Ramadan for us. That didn't come into their reality or in their picture. They didn't even look at that. So they had no regard for our holy month. Not only that, even on Eid Day, they carried on the onslaught, raining terror on our Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine. Approximately 437 of these people that have tragically lost their lives were children. That, I think, equates to somewhere in the region of maybe 30 to 40% of the people that have died were children. I mean, what did these children do to them? They were just, at home. Some of them were just sleeping. These things were just, happening all the way through. I mean, whether it was night, day, and there was no let-up at all. Now, the Israelis have called this Operation Protective Edge. In reality, it was the annihilation and destruction of Gaza, and this is exactly what it was. We now have a ceasefire for 72 hours. And, you keep hearing the rhetoric from the Israeli government, from Benjamin Netanyahu, that really, it's not us, it's Hamas, and that really we want to make peace, that we are the peacemakers, and we don't really want war, we want peace. This is what the Quran says to us in Surah Baqarah, verse 11. It says, when it is said to them, make not mischief on the earth, they say, why? We only want to make peace. And this is what they keep repeating again and again. But we know Allah said that really they are the mischief makers. We're all frustrated and angry at the inaction of our governments. And what have we done to alleviate this? Well, we've gone on marches, we've held protests, we've raised money for Gaza. What impressed me the most, and one of the things that really took my attention while this was happening, and we were doing the marches and the protests and raising money for Gaza, is that I started to see a lot of the young people who were taking part in these rallies and in these demonstrations, and on their cars. For the young people, their cars are quite valued to them, but they were actually putting the Palestinian flags on their bonnets, on their windows, on the sides, and actually some of them were sticking stickers on their bonnets as well, with no, thought for their own cars, basically. They just wanted to portray the message And the youngsters were actually taking a more of an active role than some of our leaders were, unfortunately. So, you know, we did a lot of boycotting as well. We boycotted, like Tesco's, McDonald's, Coca-Cola as an example, just to give you a few examples. But the boycotts and all these protests and marches that we do is not enough. We have to do more. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Last week, on Saturday, because of the place that I work in, somebody actually came, an Englishman. He comes on a regular basis, about 6 to 8 weeks at a time, to collect our oil and take it away for us. And he is quite well informed, or so I thought. He knows quite a bit about Islam. He knows a lot about the Balfour Declaration, when Britain gave away the land of Palestine to the Zionist Jews. And while he was here, I was just having a little conversation. I said, what do you think of this, the slaughter and the massacre that's happening in Gaza? And this was his reply. I mean, I would have thought, because I thought he was well informed and he knew what was going on. He was he was quite learned. He's an elderly gentleman, somewhere in the region of late 50s, maybe a 60-year-old. And this is the reply he gave me. He said, well, it's, they should both get together and talk to each other. They're both as bad as each other. And I was flabbergasted. I'm thinking, what's he talking about, But that's not his fault, you see. It's because the mainstream media, things like the BBC, Fox News, CNN, all of that is controlled by the Zionists. So they actually form his views and his opinions. So what we have to do, the point that I'm trying to make basically is that, the media plays an important role in forming their views and their opinions. So we have to tackle this issue as well. So this is what I think, after long deliberation and after the frustration and the anger of watching the news on a daily basis and thinking, what can we do, what can we do? And we feel frustrated because we can't do anything. But that's not true. We have hope, and we have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to do something. This is exactly what they want us to do. Nothing. We shouldn't do nothing. And we shouldn't just do the protests, marches and the boycotts. We have to do more. Just like they have done a lot more. They have thought, long-term plan, how we're going to take over Palestine, how we're going to do this, how we're going to, get the media to work for us and things like that. So they plan, and we have to do the same. We have to plan, we have to act, and not just sit down and get frustrated and don't do anything about it. We are doing a few things, but we have to do more, much, much more. So here's what I think needs to be done. And if other people have other ideas that they can share with us, by all means, put them in the comment section, and we'll have a look at them and maybe take them on board and let others know about it, and maybe the others can share with us. So the first thing I thought of was that we have to hold fast to the rope of Allah. So we have to go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. We have to read a lot more than we are doing. Make dua for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. We have to make excessive du'as for them. And we have to do these du'as constantly, consistently. Not just one du'a and then give it up and, think that's it, it's the end. No, we have to constantly, continually make these du'as. Every single day. Remember them. These are our brothers and sisters. Number 2, we need to give da'wah. We need to give da'wah to the indigenous population, to our colleagues, to our friends. If you're a student, a youngster who's studying in universities, in colleges, talk to your colleagues, talk to your friends. Let them know what's going on. Some of them haven't got a clue. Some of the people don't even know the history of Palestine and how it was taken over by the Zionists. So we need to educate them. We need to educate ourselves firstly, and then educate them. Let them know. Talk to them. And, you know, every one of us needs to do that. Our neighbors, if you have friends next door living to you who are non-Muslims, invite them over. Give them some tea. You know, talk to them. Explain to them, you know, with beautiful, in the best possible manner. Talk to them. Let them know. I mean, you know, the Quran tells us to invite everyone. It says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mau'izati al hasanati wajadilhum billati hi ahsan." Invite all to the ways of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. So we have to talk to them. We have to reason with them. And this is, you know, let them see our kindness. Let them see our generosity, our concern and our care for our elders. Let them see how thoughtful and considerate and loving we are towards our elders, towards the rest of humanity. They don't know that, of course, because of what the media has portrayed about Islam. So if we talk to them on a one-to-one basis, you know, we can get this message across to them. Explain things to them reasonably, rationally, logically, so that they understand. And make sure whatever we're saying, try wherever possible, that all the information that you give them is evidence-based. So that was number 2. Number 3, we need to be aware of current events. We need to know what's going on around the world. We have to find out and search, you know, and do research on the history. We also need to try and get all our spokespersons that come in the media to be well-grounded in knowledge. They should be eloquent speakers. Their speech should be such, and their language of the English should be absolutely perfect. It should be better than the Queen's English, if possible. You know, and if somebody eloquent like that comes, he can get the message across, or she can get the message across to the masses in a much better way. So we should do all of this and, you know, continue to educate ourselves and to educate the non-believers or the non-Muslims, or your friends or your colleagues, even our own families. In some cases, our elders may not know the full story of what's happened in Palestine. So we need to take the time and actually talk to them and educate them. We need to spend time as fathers and mothers with our children, explain to them, talk to them, educate them, spend more time with them, because these are the, you know, ones that are going to be coming up after us. And finally, well, not finally, but, you know, the 4th thing that we need to do, in my opinion, and, you know, there may be a lot more things that can be done. I'm not saying that there aren't, but this is what I've thought of, and this is what I think, you know, should be done, and I'm actually doing it. So the 4th one is boycotts. Do they really work? Well, you know, we found out that they are actually definitely working. So, as an example, Tesco's have, you know, dropped their sales. McDonald's have lost quite a bit of sales. Coca-Cola's sales have slumped as well because of the boycotts. But we need to carry on with those boycotts. Just to give you an example of people that are actually boycotting, there's an organization called BDS, which stands for Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions. They're doing fantastic work in boycotting, and with their boycotts, you know, they've achieved a lot. So, you know, we can join with them, affiliate with them, and help them in any way that we can. Also, there's another organization called InMinds. It's called www.inminds.co.uk. So if you go on there as well, they actually list all the companies or the products that we need to boycott. To give you an example, I was reading just recently about Coca-Cola, and I'm taking Coca-Cola as an example because Coca-Cola is huge. You know, they're all over the third world countries. They're all over the world, basically. And their tax dollars, basically, are running into millions in America. And their tax dollars, of course, you know full well, go to aid the Israeli army in Israel. And, you know, they send a lot of arms towards them to kill our brothers and sisters, basically. So, to give you an example of Coca-Cola, and I'm taking Coca-Cola because this is the one that I think, for me, is a big contributor to the Israeli government. And this is what they do. Now, I've got this information from InMinds. You can go there and check it out. Did you know that Coca-Cola, as a company, produces 7 different products? And I'll list them for you. Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola Zero, Diet Coke, Sprite, Fanta, Lilt, Dr. Pepper, Oasis, Kiora, Schweppes, Five Alive, Minute Maid, Roses, Powerade, Relentless, Malvern, and Gleico Vitamin Water. Also, Coca-Cola has very, very close links with Israel. These are some of the things I'm going to tell you now, which maybe most people don't know. Or some may know, some may not know, but I'm going to share it with you. So, from 1966, Coca-Cola has been a staunch supporter of Israel. In 1997, the government of Israel, Israeli Economic Mission, honored Coca-Cola at the Israeli Trade Award dinner for its continued support of Israel. For the last 30 years, and for refusing to abide by the Arab League boycott of Israel. That's Coca-Cola. Every year, Coca-Cola bankrolls the American-Israeli Chamber of Commerce Awards, which honors companies that have contributed most to the Israeli economy. In 2008, another one, Coca-Cola tasked the Israeli Venture Capital Challenge Fund to locate suitable investments in Israel with a promise of a blank check. This agreement is exceptional in the Israeli venture capital industry. In 2009, Coca-Cola-sponsored award went to Israel's lobby, AIPAC, for its lobbying of the Senate to reject the UN call for immediate ceasefire and endorse the continuation of the Israeli military assault on Gaza. This was the one that happened before Operation Cast Lead. Also in 2009, Coca-Cola hosted a special reception at the Coca-Cola World Headquarters to honor Brigadier General Ben Eliezer. Ben Eliezer is a wanted war criminal. And during the Six-Day War, his unit was responsible for the execution of 300 Egyptian prisoners of war. And under Sharon, Ben Eliezer served as defense minister, presiding over the massacre at Jenin. Coca-Cola Israel owns dairy farms in the illegal Israeli settlements of Sedmont, Mekola in the Jordan Valley, and a plant in the industrial zone of Ketzerin in the occupied Golan Heights. So basically, Coca-Cola is in league and in collusion and is complicit in the killing of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. So for me, Coca-Cola is a very big culprit in this. So because of that, this is what we have done. What I'd like to do now is just show you what we have done in Blackburn, or in the workplace that I'm at now. We run a takeaway, and what we've done is we've done away with Coca-Cola and all Coke products from our takeaway altogether. I'm going to ask my brother here to hand me the camera, and I'm going to take you to a tour of our shop to show you what we've done.